The old Sidetracks location is empty, but a new restaurant is in the making to bring a different option to downtown Elon. The new owners are a husband and wife team and Elon alums. You can expect the new eating establishment to open this summer. We'll bring you more about the information on the restaurant's design and also how it's becoming available on our website.
U.S. Senator Richard Burr will deliver this year's law school commencement address. Burr will speak in front of 98 students on Sunday, May 22nd at the Carolina Theater in Greensboro. Burr was elected to the Senate in 2004 and re-elected in 2010.
Imagine doing everything required of you as a student, but without the ability to see. Tonight, Drew Smith introduces us to a student at Alamance Community College who's overcome some extreme challenges.
There is no treatment for retinitis pigmentosa.
Amy Moore is losing her vision.
Tunnel vision, and this is 20 degrees, and I have 5.5 degrees left.
Doctors diagnosed her with retinitis pigmentosa 4 years ago. It's a genetic condition that makes people go blind.
I didn't feel sorry for myself. I didn't have a pity party.
The diagnosis was a turning point.
It's a challenge. It is scary. But don't give up, though, because this is the best years of my life.
Moore was addicted to drugs up until 4 years ago. She credits her faith for helping her get clean.
It made me stronger as a person. And it's like sometimes I feel like I can see things that other people can't see. I walk by faith.
And now she's back in school.
This is my school book, and it blows up stuff for me.
She can only read one word at a time, and it takes her longer to do things people with full vision do easily. And living in Burlington isn't the easiest place for a visually impaired person, since she has to rely on others for transportation. But she's overcome it all and is set to graduate this year from Alamance Community College.
I'm not going to let this eye disease stop me from doing what I want to do. And at times I wanted to give up. There was a lot of times I wanted to give up, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give up.
Amy Moore is a student with a positive attitude, and she's not letting blindness slow her down. In Burlington, Drew Smith, Phoenix 14 News.
Amy hopes to finish up at Alamance Community College in the fall. Her curriculum is based in word processing. Ripcord's spring show, see what they did to honor their only graduating senior.
Elon students were hoping for some hotter weather today, but it didn't get as warm as some thought. Grace Sweeney joins us to take a look at this week's weather. Grace, can we look forward to some warm weather this week?
You definitely can look forward to some warm weather, but there also is going to be some crazy thunderstorms as well. Today it wound up being around a little under 86 degrees and it was a little humid in the morning, and tonight we will probably experience some thunderstorms and a low of 60 degrees. Tomorrow's weather will also be scattered thunderstorms throughout the area throughout most of the day. And let's take a look at some pollen readings. The problem with pollen is that about this time of year, you guys are probably going to be itching your nose, sneezing, coughing, and unfortunately it's going to get a lot worse this week. Today was a high count, and tomorrow will also be a high count, especially for oak and pine, which we have a lot of oak around here. And tomorrow, and then Thursday and Wednesday will be very high. So if you're very allergic, you probably want to be aware and take off some clothes if you've been out in the sun for too long to be fresh and everything. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. It's going to be pretty nice for the most part after Tuesday. Saturday will probably have a little bit of rain, but mostly partly cloudy, so it'll be hopefully a nice weekend.
Just about a year to go into the Summer Olympics in London, but Friday the torch was lit for the Special Olympics of Alamance County. More than 300 athletes and 400 volunteers paired up on Belk Track. They participated in various track and field events, including the 100-meter run, softball throw, and wheelchair obstacle course. The athletes range in age from young kids to adults with intellectual disabilities. Medals were handed out in each event, but everyone was a winner.
There was a cheering audience around Belk Track on Friday, but Saturday cheers filled Whitley as Ripcord presented their spring concert.
Hey, excited about this show. This is going to be a really good show. We had a guy come in last week from Las Vegas named Tim Molyneux to help us with our sound and our movements.
It's a good time for us to just showcase. We put a lot of work in, so to get to show off how much work we really do put in, and just like the talent that we have.
Well, we have one senior in the group. His name is Greg, and I believe for the seniors we give them some sort of award, or not award, but like a thing to remember us by at the end of the show.
One thing Greg did is make my job easier. When we had 5 seniors last year, we had to get 5 of these frames, and this year we only had to get 1. Anyway, we really appreciate all of you coming out. I know most of you don't know who I am because I'm a senior, but you guys are really actual talented people in the group. So thank you for coming out.
The baseball team tried their best to hold on to the Southern Conference lead this weekend as they hosted the Wofford Terriers. Find out how they did next in sports. Yes. As always, this is Phoenix 14 Sports. I'm Steve Roth. Let's take a look at what's happening at Elon. The baseball team hosted their second home conference series of the year as they played the Wofford Terriers this weekend. A familiar face was spotted at the game as Brian Williams cheered on the Phoenix Friday night. As for the game, sophomore Kyle Webb was the starting pitcher and did a good job. He pitched 5 innings and struck out 3 while only giving up 1 run. Wofford kept the game close as they score their first run here on a nice bunt down the first base line. Not to be outdone was senior Harry Alston, who smacks one to right field. It drops in and Alston is able to make it to third base on the hit while also driving in Kyle Rasmus for Elon's first run of the night. Later, Neil Pritchard would single up the middle in the bottom of the 12th inning to bring in the winning run. Elon defeats Wofford by a final of 4-3. The baseball team had a fantastic weekend. They brought out the brooms and swept Wofford. That means they kept their lead in the Southern Conference and now sport a 12-3 SoCon record. The softball team also hosted a conference opponent at home this weekend. On Saturday, the team started their series against Georgia Southern at East Field. Erin O'Shea got the start for the Phoenix, and she made the most out of it. She rings up batter after batter and throws a complete game. She finishes with a total of 10 strikeouts in those 7 innings, but she could only do so much. This would be the second home run for Georgia Southern, tying the game up at 2. Later, Jackie Gonzalez tries to keep the game going, but she just gets beat on the run to first as the Eagles begin to celebrate. They win the game by a final of 3-2. Elon went on to win the other 2 games of the series and now have a 19-15 overall record. The men's tennis team has been on fire this season. They shut out Wofford on Saturday 7-0. Their senior day was on Sunday when they beat up on Georgia Southern and finished with a 6-1 victory. With those wins, they now have an 8-1 Southern Conference record, and they are now 16-6 overall. All college athletes are constantly being challenged to perform and improve their skills on a daily basis. However, one member of the baseball team has faced a monumental challenge ever since his freshman year at Elon. The Southern Conference's all-time leader in saves, a 15th round selection of the Minnesota Twins in the 2010 MLB Draft. Senior pitcher Thomas Girdwood has received plenty of awards throughout his college career. His inspiration to succeed comes from a life-changing event in his freshman season.
My dad told my mom, he said, Tom's home, I'm going to go pick him up. And he said he literally turned around, grabbed his keys off the desk, and when he turned back around to tell her he'd be back, she had passed away.
Thomas's mother, Maggie, died after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Thomas received the news while the team was traveling back to Elon from a series in South Carolina.
And I walked back on the bus, and I just told him, I said, you know, I just lost one of the most important things in my life.
Before she passed away, Maggie Girdwood had one last goal to meet.
She got to make it to one game my freshman year, and that was her final goal after she got diagnosed.
Since then, before each game, Thomas kneels down behind the pitcher's mound to pray.
I pray to my mom and I ask her to be with me and tell her that I need her and I love her.
Although Thomas is very focused when he pitches, deep down, it still hurts.
Every time that I pitch, I'm not necessarily doing it for me. I'm not even necessarily doing it for this team. I'm doing it for her and the people that made sure I stayed where I am today and didn't let me go down the wrong path.
From this tragedy, Thomas has learned a very valuable lesson.
Everything I do, every pitch I throw, I treat it like it's going to be my last one. Every day of life, it could be my last day. You have to cherish the time that you do have with the people around you.
That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
To wrap up tonight, we want to welcome a few more members of our staff.
They're just off the plane from Los Angeles, where they were at the Emmy Foundation's College Television Awards. Guys, how was your weekend?
It was amazing. This is the hardware that we brought home. We just wanted to take a couple seconds to talk about what this is. It is called a College TV Award, and it is for the #1 newscast in the nation that the Emmy Foundation actually puts on. The show was awesome. There was lots of celebrities there, lots of other great student journalists. And we were all so happy to go out there to accept this award for the entire school and for the entire staff of Phoenix 14 News, because this show has given so much to all of our students, and we're so happy to bring it back.
Sounds great. Glad you guys had such a great weekend. But that does it for tonight on Phoenix 14 News. Visit our website.
I'm Ben Runxie-Tong.
And I'm Sophie Nielsen-Colding. Have a great week, Elon.